All right, so we're recording. Wonderful. Welcome everyone to the webinar on Full Speed Ahead, Accelerating Towards Your Academic Goals. I'm excited that you're here. Thank you for taking the time out of your evening. I'm Professor Patchke, and I also am the ESL specialist at the Ally Center. So I'm very happy that you are here. I know you have extremely busy schedules, but we have a lot to discuss this evening. So bear with me. Some of you, is anyone a TU student, meaning you're a student on campus? Is anyone here a student on campus? Hi, Amy. Hi, glad you're here. I'm excited that you're here. Thank you for joining. Some of the things I will share, a lot of it does relate to adult learners, but you will be able to take some pieces out from this. So I'm glad you're here, Amy. Hello, Thomas and Zadie and everyone, Jennifer, Andrea, I'm glad you all are here. So as adult learners, or some of you who are in the on-campus space, okay, you know that classes take up majority of your time, but in the online space, you all are in accelerated programs. So you're already driving in the fast lane. Though I know those of you who are living on campus, college is nonstop, right? I mean, it just goes. You feel like you never get a break. So you're balancing work, you're balancing families, you're balancing commuting, you're balancing college, you're balancing countless amount of responsibilities, okay? Those responsibilities not only require efficiency, focus, organization, but they also require a certain type of fuel to keep you going. They require discipline as well. So tonight we are going to explore practical strategies that act like a roadmap for you. It's going to help you stay on the course. It's going to help you avoid detours, and it's going to keep your momentum strong along the way so that you can finish your academic course. You can reach the finish line. So by the time we end this webinar, okay, I hope that you will walk away with tools to manage your time effectively. I hope it keeps you motivated and it prevents burnout. Okay. I want your journey forward to feel like, yeah, this is full speed ahead, but it's doable. Okay. So to start us off, I'm going to have you, let me share my screen briefly. All right. So to start us off, I want to ask you a question. I want to ask you, what's in your tank? Don't mind me. You know, you're going to get all these puns today about engines, cars, racing, because I think it's a great fit for Full Speed Ahead. So what's in your tank? I want you to, if you have the ability to, answer these questions in the chat. Start with number one. When you think about your academic journey right now, what's fueling you? I know a majority of you are going to say it's the Lord. I love it. What else is fueling you? Fueling you. Oh, say that 5 times. Is it personal growth? Is it a family member? Is it a support group? Is it a career goal? Is it the Lord? What is fueling you? Okay, place that in the chat. And if you can't type it in the chat, feel free to unmute and just shout it out. Yes. Challenge to get my degree. Yes. The Lord, career goals, Holy Spirit. Yes. Career goals. Yes. Finishing your degree. Yes. Yes. What is fueling you? I'll wait for some more people to respond. What is fueling you? Yeah. Determination to succeed. Yeah. Get a degree. Yes. Now, number 2, on the other side of it, what's draining your tank? Or what is slowing you down? Is it the lack of resources? Is it the lack of motivation? What is slowing you down? What's draining you? Okay. All right. The chat's coming in. All right. Not enough exercise. Yes. Yep. Not taking care of the physical self. That will drain you mentally. Yes. Yep. How to manage it all. 18 credits is a lot for a young college student. That's a lot. That's full time and a job. Okay. Yes, there's not enough hours in the day. I know. It's we each get 24 hours. So when we talk about time management, we'll get to that. It's really self-management, right? Lack of resources, burnout, motivation. Wow. More people answered number 2 than number 1. Okay, burnout, busy schedule, not enough time in a day. All right. Thank you for your honesty. So here's a pun again. Here it is. Just like a car, our progress depends on fuel, taking care of it, and there's going to be roadblocks. Okay. So throughout this session, we're going to explore how to keep your tank full with all the resources that you need to navigate these challenges that you have just shared in number 2. Okay. So let's talk about roadblocks that you face in education. I want you to think of your academic journey like a road trip. I like to say it's like a moving train, road trip. Yeah, very similar. Think about driving in Pennsylvania real quick. If any of you have driven in PA, you know our roads are horrible, okay? Sometimes the roads are smooth. Many times there's a lot of potholes, and we hit a lot of obstacles that do slow us down, okay? They even make us want to turn around, okay? We have all these detours. The key is learning how to recognize these challenges, and we're going to go through each of these. The key is learning how to recognize them and how to navigate around them so that you keep moving forward. So, number 1, one of the biggest challenges that adult learners, college students face is time management, self-management, okay? Balancing school with all of the other responsibilities, even, taking care of the home, right? Laundry, it begins to pile up, okay? It feels like we're constantly stuck in rush hour traffic, okay? This is why there's too many cars on the road at times, okay? It feels like there's not enough space to get to where you need to go, all right? This is where time management comes in. Without a clear plan, things begin to pile up, like many of you said, okay? Then you are burnout. And as you know, the feeling of being stuck in traffic, right? We hate it, okay? That is feeling overwhelmed by everything, all right? So we'll look at some time management strategies here in a bit. The second one is another challenge is the fear of not being good enough. Can anyone relate to this? The fear of not being good enough, okay? Many adult students who return to school at an older age, they worry that they're at a disadvantage compared to younger students. Okay, that fear can make you feel like you're driving behind a wide load on a very narrow road, right? You're unsure if you're able to do it. You're unsure if you're able to pass that truck because of your age, okay? But I will say with patience and with the right resources and the strategies, you can actually overcome that obstacle and move forward, all right? It's also a mindset. The third one is technology. This is a big one. For those of you who did not grow up with an online learning platform, learning these new systems can feel like you're trying to read these road signs in foreign languages. Okay, it's not red, yellow, green. Okay, it's another language. It's a very frustrating. If technology, I will always say when you're dating, okay, give the person a piece of technology. How do they handle it? Okay, because technology is very frustrating at times. Okay. The last piece here, the last struggle or challenge is going to be multitasking. So let's talk about this one. Many of us think that doing multiple things at once makes us more productive. Actually, it's a myth, okay? Multitasking is like driving too fast without any focus. So if you love to listen to music in the car, like I love it at times, and you're blasting music, like you're in the zone and you're driving, there are times when it's like you don't even know where you're at because you're trying to multitask and you're really enjoying what you're listening to, okay? So yes, multitasking is not productive. Sure, it feels like in the moment that you're covering all the miles very quickly. It does feel like that. You're like, yes, I'm doing all this at once. But without paying attention, you miss some of the important signs, or worse, you risk swerving and you actually don't complete what you were originally meant to do. So it's just like driving safely, okay? Learning is smoother and much more effective when you focus on one task at a time, okay? Lastly, before I give you some practical strategies, let's talk about, this is where Wi-Fi is coming in. Everything's missing in the middle here. Look at that. All right, hopefully it keeps working here. I'll refresh it in a second. Let's see if this works. And it says I'm offline. I'm not offline, I'm right here. This is what I'm talking about, technology. All right, we'll see if it pops up. I'm gonna keep going here, but warning lights on your dashboard, okay? Just like you wouldn't ignore the warning lights on your car, like check your engine, beep, beep, you shouldn't ignore it in yourself, okay? The warning lights on your dashboard, typically all the signs and symptoms of burnout are occurring. It's your body saying help, okay? Your body and your mind, they will send you signals just like a car does. I wish it was like a bright light right in front of our face, like our car gives us, but it's not, okay? It's other minor symptoms. And then when you reach the point of where you can't get out of bed in the morning, and you're like, how did this happen, right? Your body and your mind told you some symptoms at the time. So we're gonna look at this. Low energy is like that empty fuel light when it's flashing. If you have very low energy, that's a sign of burnout's creeping in, okay? Trouble concentrating. That's like your headlights on a car, that's when they're flickering, okay? It's like, oh, I'm going in and out, I'm zoning in and out, I can't concentrate. That's another sign. Feeling easily discouraged or irritable. That's something that's signaling much deeper that does need attention, okay? Just as you wouldn't ignore the warning lights on your car, you wouldn't ignore them in yourself. But yet we still do that. It's important to pay attention early so that you can kind of pull over, rest, refuel if need, okay, before you experience a complete breakdown. We don't want that, okay? Again, roadblocks don't mean you've lost your way. So those challenges, if I go back and share those challenges with you, these challenges, they don't mean you've lost your way, okay? They don't mean, you've reached the end point, you cannot be helped. They're actually part of the journey, okay? But with awareness of them and the right strategies, you're able to reach that destination. You're able to succeed academically, right? So let's discuss the important strategies, and I'm going to give you some practical tips to keep you on the road here. Let's hope this loads. All right, it looks like, see at the top left-hand corner, it's telling me that it's still loading. So I apologize. It looks like none of the visual aid is going to pop up here. So I apologize. Something must be wrong with the Wi-Fi on campus today. So let's look at time management. I'm going to go into depth about each of these tips. So time management, think of time management as the fuel that keeps you moving forward on your academic journey, okay? Without enough fuel, even the best car on the smoothest road, it's still going to stall, okay? So the goal is not to just keep your tank full, It's actually, okay, you need to refuel in a way that helps you accelerate steadily without burning yourself out. So how can you fuel for your journey? How can you do it? Okay, so let me give you some tips here. It's not about cramming everything in. It's not about multitasking. It's about choosing wisely where your energy goes. And that's why we say time blocking is really important. Okay. If you say, okay, I have this many hours I'm awake, this many hours I work, this many hours I'm in class, this many hours I do XYZ. Where is your energy going throughout your day? Okay, think about that, because every one of you, your fuel looks different. Your fuel, right? For some, you have a structured daily routine that keeps your tank full. But for others, you thrive on short breaks, moments of quiet, or scheduled study breaks. You thrive on color coding schedules, okay? Each of these strategies are going to benefit you in your own unique way, right? Second tip for time management is mapping your route. So we're going to discuss block scheduling and prioritization. So just before you start your journey, okay, you're not going to go on a road trip or your journey really without mapping out and checking where you're going, okay, unless you're some of those people that say, you know what, I think I'm just going to get in the car and drive. Rarely does that work, but this is similar with being a successful learner, okay? Successful learners, they plan their schedules with intention, right? So two powerful strategies here. Let's look at these. All right, I'm actually going to pause here because I want to see if I can get this to refresh, because I know my visual learners. I'm going to pause the recording real quick. There we go. All right, I'm going to reshare my screen. Thanks for being patient. We'll jump right back in. Those of you watching the recording, I paused it to fix the animations here. Okay. All right, can someone unmute and tell me that you can see the presentation? Okay, I see heads nodding. Yes. Okay, this is wonderful. So now let's talk about these two important pieces here that help with time management, okay? First one is going to be block scheduling, okay? Block scheduling. I want you to think of blocking time as setting a very clear lane just for studying, okay? Just like when you make doctor's appointments, you jot them down in your calendar, you set a clear time, and then you show up, okay? If you have to go to the dentist, you map it out, you get a reminder, and you attend, right? It's very important that you block schedule one evening out of the week where your focus is maybe on your spouse or a friend, okay, on your children, your grandchildren, all right? It's important that you block time out for yourself, okay? It's also important that you block specific time out exclusively for your coursework, okay? Now, yes, many of the online population, they say, you know what, my work it's all over the place. I don't know when my hours are this or this. I would say do your best to stick to a specific schedule on maybe weekends if you're able to, okay? If you know every week after church you have like 2 hours, okay? Try and use that time wisely, all right? That is block scheduling. It creates rhythm and consistency, okay? That's what we want to see. We want to see rhythm and consistency, all right? The next is going to be prioritization. Not every task that you do is equal, okay? Prioritization is like mapping your route so you avoid all the unnecessary detours, just like scaffolding a paper, right? You would never go write your 4-page, I guess it's maybe an expository essay, argumentative essay, without going back and doing some research prior to it, starting with your thesis statement, outlining, okay? You want to map your route. So also, if you know which assignments or responsibilities in your life that are critical, or you say, some of these can wait, you will save precious time and avoid wasting energy on all these side things that you need to do that don't bring you closer to the destination that you need for that day. Okay. So by using these two together, block scheduling and prioritization, they do help you move with purpose instead of saying, I'm zigzagging between distractions and commitments. I don't know where my energy is going. Okay. So let me ask you a question. Feel free to write this in the chat, or you can say it out loud. I want to hear from some of you too. That would be helpful. Where do you tend to hit the most traffic in your week? Where's the most traffic? Is it work responsibilities? Is it your academics? Is it family obligations? Is it household chores? Is it unexpected detours like emergencies, social media distractions? What is the most traffic in your life right now? Okay. So far, academics, okay. Academics, work. And social media, okay. Oh, teaching, you must be teaching a lot of fitness classes if that's where the most traffic is coming from. Awesome. Okay, so work. Okay. Getting distracted with the internet. Yes. Yeah. Oh, 6 fitness classes a week. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Now putting all this together, what we just talked about with the time management piece. If you fuel yourself wisely, if you map out your route, you use the block scheduling and prioritization, if you recognize your biggest traffic points, which you just all mentioned in the chat, you can create a smoother drive to your goals. Okay. Time management isn't about the clock. It's about making sure that the energy that you're using is being used in ways to keep you moving forward instead of being stuck at the side of the road. Okay. And many times, if you're not using it wisely, your energy, we are on the side of the road. We're crying out for help. Okay. So let's go to the next practical strategy. The next practical strategy here. This is staying organized. Okay. So if time management, like I said, if that was the fuel that keeps you moving, organization is going to be the engine. So 2 things, okay? A car with a poorly tuned engine, it may run. Okay. Marky, it may run, but it's not going to run smoothly. And it's certainly not going to get you very far with all those problems. So, what kind of engine do you have? Not literally, not your car. I'm asking, what is happening with your engine, okay? Because on the other hand, if your engine is tuned up and everything is working seamlessly, you're using all the right tools and strategies, you actually use less energy, you move with less stress, and the ride is so much smoother, okay? So an organized learner is like a well-maintained car. When your notes, your deadlines, and your resources are all scattered, it's like driving with horrible brakes, a rattling muffler, and a dashboard with all these full loose wires and the radios like going in and out, okay? Then what happens? Stress builds up, and you're never sure when the next thing's going to break down, okay? With the right systems in place, you can have a well-tuned engine. It could be a planner, a calendar, simply a folder structure, okay? You must learn that as your engine moves, as it hums along, okay, it's well tuned, it's going to let you focus more, okay? The goal is to remove all that mess. So staying organized is very important for having a well-tuned engine. Also think about number 2, GPS. Okay, we live in a digitalized world. Okay, think about how much easier road trips are with a GPS compared to the old paper maps. You remember those? Does anyone remember? Somebody just shaking your head. Yes. Yeah, I remember those. Digital tools work the same way for learning. Okay, they act as your navigation system. So I love that Canvas has that all their to-do list on the side. That's great to use. I love that it has a built-in calendar. You can place everything in Canvas, okay? And you can sync it, right? You want to use this to guide you to the deadlines, the due dates, long-term projects. Use digital tools to support you. So you've got these 3, okay? Calendars and reminders. You've got Google Calendar, Outlook, calendar on your phone. All of these can serve like GPS alerts. They let you know what's coming up so you're not caught off guard. But you do have to take the time to place these things on your calendar, okay? Second one, task managers. These are some of my favorite ones that I love to help manage lists and, keep me alert. Trello, amazing. If you are a meal prepper, okay, and you love cooking and all that, Trello's great. Adding financial lists, keeping Excel sheets, that's great. Okay, another one, these are all free, by the way. So Todoist is another great one. The app, when you place in your projects or to-do lists, it breaks it down into manageable lists so that you can see everything ahead. It's wonderful. I love Todoist. Next one, the third option for organization is documentation, okay? You have cloud storage. You've got Google Drive and OneDrive if you have your LBC email address, okay? These ensure that there's not in random folders. Everything's organized, okay? When you use some of these tools consistently, okay, you always know where the next turn is, and that's important, okay? If I opened up your calendar on your phone, it should be packed with organization of what's upcoming this week, next month, okay? There should be an hour in there saying, hey, this is me time. Hey, this is my time with the Lord, right? Because sometimes when we don't place it on our calendar, we don't do it, okay? So schedule those times. Let's look at something else real quick though. Mile markers. Mile markers, it's like breaking large tasks into smaller steps. So as you know, on a very long highway, okay, mile markers reassure you as the driver that you're making progress. I don't know if you've ever paid attention to mile markers, but they're fascinating to tell you, okay, where you're at. Without them, without some of the signs on the highway, oh my goodness, like 100-mile stretch feels like it's endless and it's very discouraging. Same with academics. When you have those big assignments or projects, they feel the same way. You're like, oh no, I'm in week 6. Oh, I have this huge paper. It feels overwhelming and unmanageable. But when you break it down, give a day to research, a day to do the next task, a day for MLA format, break them down into smaller steps, okay? So taking I don't know if anyone has to do 10-page paper, but just taking, your argumentative essay, okay? Break it down. Choose a topic, research, draft, revise, proofread. You break them down into bits and pieces, bite-sized pieces. If you're preparing for an exam, if you're on campus, more than likely you have exams in your classes, okay? How do you prepare for that? Break it down. Review the notes. Create the flashcards that you need. Set up practice questions. Schedule a time to teach it to yourself. Okay, you just broke down studying for an exam, something that was so overwhelming to something that's manageable. okay? You can do this in any area of your life as well, right? Break things down. Okay. Let's go on to the next here. Okay, let's talk about avoiding burnout. Any questions so far? I want to give a chance for you all to add in anything before we talk about ways to avoid burnout. I want to give a chance for you to speak because we're unpacking a lot of stuff, okay? All right. All right, let's keep going. Let's talk about avoiding burnout. Okay. Every driver knows that you cannot keep pushing a car endlessly without stopping for gas, checking the brakes once in a while, taking it in to get the state inspections. Okay, you got to give the engine a rest. Same with you. Okay, rest is important. Same goes for you as a learner. So avoiding burnout doesn't mean doing less. It's really about how you take care of yourself. It's knowing when to take care of yourself and how to do that. So, number one, pulling into the pit stop, if you'd like to call it, okay? I want you to think of burnout prevention as learning, but when to make those pit stops. Even in any professional race, okay, with any, or even any professional athlete, okay, they're designed to go very, very, very fast in a race, but they have to stop for fuel. They have to stop for fresh tires, and they have to stop to make adjustments. They have to. That's a professional race. Without all of those stops, they would never finish. So for you as an academic learner, an adult learner, pit stops may look like taking a short walk between study sessions, okay? Our bodies, we love nature. Get out in nature if you can, okay? Another pit stop might look like scheduling intentional downtime, whether that's listening to a podcast, sitting in silence, watching birds outside your window, okay? Something, reading something that you enjoy, practicing a hobby, connecting with a friend, okay? Diving into scripture. Schedule intentional downtime. Another pit stop for you might look like saying, you know what? I'm going to stop this paper at 10 p.m. because I need to get enough rest. Because sleep, that is the ultimate refuel for your brain. Okay? No, the pit stops, they do not slow you down. Many times we say, oh, if we stop, I'm losing time, I'm losing time. No, in fact, it's going to keep you going longer at a steady pace. I tell students that come into my office all the time. I just had a student last week, actually. He was behind a few assignments and was basically in tears, and he's saying, I have to do it. I have to continue. I got to finish by Saturday. I got to get ahead. And then, he's a commuter. And I said, friend, if you push yourself, if you do an all-nighter, and he was already crying because he's burnt out, I said, it's going to make it worse. The assignments that you're going to do, it's not going to be your best work. I said, here's what I recommend. I recommend you going home for 24 hours. Get plenty of sleep. Don't think about your assignments. Spend time with your parents. Eat a really good meal. Come back to campus Saturday before dinner and get started on your assignments. And guess what? When I met him Monday, he did exactly that, and he was refueled and recharged, and he got everything done by Sunday evening. That's fantastic, okay? You need to be able to tell yourself, I need the pit stop, okay? Sleep is the ultimate refuel for your brain. Next one, I love this one, brake checks, okay? Managing stress before the actual curve hits. Sometimes the problem isn't the fuel actually in a car, right? Sometimes it's the speed. There's another, all these car puns, I hope you're loving them, okay? It is the speed, okay? You might be moving so fast from task to task to task that you miss all of the warning signs. That's because we are a microwave society. We are go, 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 okay? Stress management works like a brake check before you hit that really sharp curve, okay? It slows you down enough to regain control. And that's what you all need. We need to regain control before stress just takes over our lives. So Here are some effective break checks. Let's go over these, okay? One would be, yes, prayer, along with that meditation and deep breathing, okay? This is also called, instead of meditation, you can, yes, meditating on scripture. I also like to use the term mindfulness. Mindfulness exercises during intense study sessions. So deep breathing, you are resetting the rhythm in your body to say, okay, slow down. And you feel each breath and you hold it, all right? You spend time in prayer. That's mindfulness, okay? The body does need to slow down at times, all right? The brain just can't keep going and going and going and going. It loves breaks. If you ever actually do sit in silence for 20 minutes, if you're not used to sitting in silence, like no phone, no distractions, no noise, not even a fan, your brain, if it's not used to it, your brain starts thinking about all the most random things. It's like, oh, I remember I did this when I was a child. Oh, I remember when somebody made me angry. Oh yeah, I have to do this it just goes because it's not used to settling down. Over time, if you incorporate this into your life, and I can attest to this as well, over time, when you do sit in silence, it's complete it's complete meditation. The brain actually, it pauses and it enjoys to take that full breath. Okay, we need this. Again, the next tip for the break check, okay, how to manage stress, is breaking down all of these major tasks into smaller milestones. Break them down. The goal is also to reduce performance pressure. We have a lot of performance pressure, okay? The next tip is saying no to extra commitments when your plate is already full and overwhelming. Yeah, I need to tell myself this again. Saying no to extra commitments, okay? That's a big one. That's also how we can manage stress, okay? The third one is to balance, okay? Success is about sustainability. So, on a road trip, the goal isn't to drive the fastest. The goal is to arrive safely at your destination and to enjoy the road trip, okay? Same is true with education. The goal is not to rush through education, though there might be reasons why many people say, I need to take the full 18 credits, I have to do summer school. Yes, I can see that. But true success isn't about cramming the most hours or racing through every assignment at top speed just to get it done. It's about building a rhythm so that you can sustain this throughout your journey. Are you comprehending the material, the content? All right. So I want you to think of balance as setting your cruise control. You're still moving forward steadily, but it's at a speed that matches your responsibilities, your energy, and your long-term well-being. Okay. So let me ask you this. Okay, what about balance? And there you go, Wi-Fi is going out again. So it looks like all visual aid is gone. Well, I'm not going to stop now because we're nearing the end here. But what about balance? What is a way in your life that you can add balance to your life? Go ahead and place that in the chat. Where can you add balance? How can you add balance to your life? Thank you, Thomas. If that was one of your answers, MapQuest, I love it. If that's one of your answers, or if that was from another question, I find that humorous. So thank you for that. Oh, that was earlier. Okay. All right. I didn't know if you were answering how to create balance in your life. MapQuest it. Fantastic. All right. What are some ways that you can add balance? I'll wait till you place them in the chat. Give it another 30 seconds. Yeah, that's a great point. Sabbath day. Yes, that's a great point. I feel like many of us we've just become attuned to using our Sundays as Go, 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 go. Use that day. Don't mow the grass on Sundays. Don't do this. Use that to reflect. Use it to spend time in God's word. Pray for others. Rest. Yes, rest. Many of you are saying get rest, but think about how you rest. What type of rest do you need? Is it socially? Do you need a rest from people? What is the rest that you're needing? All right. I'll let you keep posting in the chat. I'm going to keep going here because I'm looking at our time. So, all right, let's briefly talk about some green lights. Couch potato rest. I love it. Let's look at some green lights. Let's recap the journey that we just went on. Okay. We looked at roadblocks like time conflict, self-doubt, technology challenges, and then we reviewed all the strategies to navigate around them. We also explored fuel and mapping your route through 3 ways: time management, block scheduling, and prioritization. Then we looked at, we tuned up your engine by talking about organization systems, digital tools as your GPS, and using mile markers to track your progress. And then finally, we talked about, we pulled into pit stops to avoid burnout. We looked at how to test your brakes, how to manage stress. We also looked at how success is to be sustainable. It's not just about speed. Okay. So to keep you moving after this session, and all the visual aid is gone. All right, I apologize. You will get this recording. I will send you the PowerPoint tomorrow once the Wi-Fi is working again, so you'll have the visual aid. But to keep you moving after the session, I'm also going to send you a handout that works like a travel guide. Okay, I call it a travel guide, but really it's going to be 4 things. It's going to be a checklist of time management tools and strategies. It's going to have suggested digital tools and organization tips for you to try out that are free. It's also going to have stress management techniques to help you refuel when you need it. And then at the bottom of your travel guide, I will give you reflection prompts to keep you tracking your progress, like those mile markers. Okay, so I will send that in the follow-up email for you to use. Okay, this guide that I send you, it is meant to kind of sit in your glove department, so to speak. Okay, I want it to be something that you can pull out whenever the road gets tough and you feel lost. It will have plenty of tips and strategies on there for you. So before you leave today, I want you to commit to one small step. Maybe it's the next step on your journey, your academic journey. Maybe it's setting up a calendar reminder to take time for yourself. Maybe it's creating your first block schedule. Maybe it's scheduling your first Ally Center appointment with a professional consultant. Or maybe it's just designating a pit stop for the rest of this week, okay? I want you to write down one action. What is one small step that you can take from today's session? Write it down, okay? Doesn't have to be in the chat. I want you to write it down for yourself on a sticky note piece of paper on your cell phone, because that one action, that's going to be your green light to keep you moving. And if you say your one action is to schedule an Ally Center appointment, on the screen here is my email and the Ally Center email. Please reach out. Let's get you scheduled, okay? I want you to remember, while you're writing that action down, I want you to remember one thing. Your education, it's not a sprint, okay? It's not about how flashy or cool your car looks or how fast you can jump into all the different gears, how you multitask, okay? It's about staying on this bumpy road, because college is a bumpy road. It's about navigating all these challenges with skill, okay? And it's also moving steadily, using the right resources towards your direction, okay? I want you to know that every mile counts. Every choice that you make in your classes, they matter, okay? Every learner, that's you, each and every one of you. Okay, you matter, and you do have what it takes to arrive successfully with the right mindset, the right support, and the right resources. But I will say it does take you to make that choice. Okay, so if you would like to schedule an appointment, please reach out. I know many of you have just said, hey, I'm struggling. If you're struggling, reach out. Though I wish I can email, the I think it's almost like 2,800 students in the online space. I wish I could email every single one of you and say, hey, schedule an appointment. But it's on you. You have to make that choice and reach out and say, I need an appointment. Okay. That is it for this evening. It looks like the Wi-Fi came back on because the visual aid pieces are now deciding to join us. So, by tomorrow, okay, you will receive a copy of the recording. You will receive the PowerPoint, and you will receive the travel guide that has all those tips and strategies and the reflection prompts. Okay. Any questions or thoughts? I'm going to check the chat too before we head out. I'm happy to see many of you. Any comments, questions before we finish? Okay, I see in the chat. All right. Yes, absolutely. You're welcome. Thank you again for joining this late in the evening. Okay. If you do need something, please email myself or the Ally Center. All right. Thank you for joining. Have a great evening, everyone.
You too. Thank you.
Have a great evening. Thank you all.
Have a great evening.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.